Well, hello everybody. Welcome into my Lightbox. I went right for the basic content of today. I decided to do a new mini series, a few new episodes. And if you love this, please leave a comment in the comments below. To everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Jason, and I am a jewelry historian and an auction advisor and a metalsmith. Please go to my past videos and take a look at what I've been posting on YouTube as my content. So what you're looking at is a tiny little box that I bought at the Mansfield flea market, and I believe I bought this in late 2011 or early 2012 from my memory. And why I bought this, I felt that this was just so unique. There was something about the design sense of this tiny box, the attention to detail, the finish of the metal, so many signatures all over it, the attention to detail of these tiny little gold tone corners and this little padlock system, and the way that the box was crafted. I noticed that this was one of the finest pieces of silver that I had seen in many years. So what I did is, back then you have to understand, I had a Razor flip phone. It was like a 2009 Razor flip phone, and it had no internet connection. And you remember how you had to used to push each number when you sent a text, you had to push it like 3 times to get to a certain letter to make a word. And it took you like 12 hours to construct one message. Well, that's the decade in which I bought this little box. And I couldn't depend on my phone, and I still don't depend on my phone. So when I tell people not to Google Lens or AI things, just be smart. You don't need your phone all the time. And I recommend that you get invested in going to the library and books. And it's okay to research online. By all means, I still do, but I just don't use those kind of tools. Anyways, I don't want to digress and get away from this, but that's the backstory of this. Is I bought this when I didn't have access to the internet. So I bought this based on its craft and design, and I've kind of touched upon that on each of my videos, that I based my collections on craft and design, not by designer or name. But I noticed this little name here, Fennell, Fennell, and then a little monogram on a gold tone plate right there. So there's the Fennell mark. And again, look at the detail on that. It looks like these trunk hinges were nailed to this top of the trunk, this little luggage, this little train style luggage box, swing handle. And then what I noticed were these hallmarks here, which were, I knew that was a mark for sterling. I knew that, a lion facing left, I knew that. And then I wasn't sure of this other little mark. Well, that's the date letter. That's the date letter right there. Look at the craft of this, though. And I thought, well, who is Fennell? So a few months later, I did some research online after having this in my possession, and I found Theo Fennell. So it's Alistair Theodore Fennell, and I emailed them, and I emailed them in 2012, and I emailed them photographs of this little case. And this was the response I got. The travel case is made in sterling silver and 18-karat yellow gold. The hallmarks are for 1989. To be remade now would be in the area of 2,500 pounds. Now, the conversion rate back then of 2,500 pounds was approximately $3,150. So $3,150 just to remake this tiny little case back then in 2012. Now, they gave me further information, and this person, Natalie, with the company was amazing. She said, for your interest, have you already seen in December last year, a box set of these was sold for $30,000 at the Elizabeth Taylor auction. And there was a piece of information here that was based on where I had gotten the box from, which I didn't want the name revealed, so I covered that, which was the Mansfield flea market, but the person, who I got it from. And then obviously the Taylor sale was the effect of provenance, but it adds to your box's story. And then here she gave me the sale details are auction number 2626. The lot number was 127, and it was sold on 12/14 of 2011 at Christie's. So I basically went over to the catalog and I looked this up, and there were 3 very similar boxes that were owned by Elizabeth Taylor that sold at that auction for $30,000 for 3 of the boxes. Now, the value being owned by Elizabeth Taylor, the value of that provenance really drove the price up. But to have this remade in 2012, it was going to run approximately $3,150. Well, I would say that the retail on this box today is around $5,000. Now, I paid $20 for it when I bought it, when I purchased it. And again, the reason why I bought it was I found it to be unique. I found it to be extremely well crafted, and I knew that the materials were much more important than just $20. It's very heavy, and look at the attention to detail. Look at the finish of that kind of checkerboard and almost worn old leather surface of this old luggage style carry-all trunk with that tiny little locking mechanism at the front, a little facsimile of a lock. And there's another hallmark right there. So look very closely at the edge of these boxes, because a lot of times there's additional hallmarks on the inside. And there are 4 more right there. So remember, please pay attention to details. Please pay attention to the marking systems. And again, let your eyes guide you and let your heart make those decisions when you see some of these things. So I went from $20 to approximately a $5,000 investment. And there's my hand, and look how tiny this box is. It's absolutely miniature, and the attention to detail, the way this is crafted, I think my advantage is, as a silversmith, I do have a slight advantage because I'm used to soldering things together, and I know the labor of love that this would take to create this on such a miniature level. And look at those corners, made exactly like an antique steamer trunk. So Alistair Theodore Fennell, if you do research on more information on him, he's a very well-known British jewelry designer. And I think in 2007, from my memory, I think in 2007, he had an exhibition, and I love this. I think it was called Show Off, and it was an exhibition on his art, and it was at the London's Royal Academy of Art. And I think that's right. But what an amazing artist, an amazing box. So please get out there and start hunting these treasures, because they are out there to be found. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you very, very soon. I love you.